Hello and welcome to the Daily Meal for Wednesday, the 24th of November, 2021. Today was a match day, and the result was another draw, 1-1. But that doesn't tell the whole story. If you didn't watch the game in person, if you didn't watch it on iFollow, if you wasn't listening to it on iFollow or anywhere else, we were pretty good today. Pretty good. Fantastic display of attacking football. Everything that we were crying out for before in how we wanted to play at home. We were very direct while still having enough in defence to stop them from doing anything themselves. And here you go. So it was Millwall 1, AFC Bournemouth 1. This is the match report from newsden.co.uk. Benicophobi's second half equaliser earned Millwall a deserved point against promotion chasing Bournemouth at the Den on Tuesday night. Dominic Solanke fired the Cherries into the lead just before the break, but Phobie rescued a point for the Lions midway through the second period. But in truth, it was Bournemouth that were holding on for a point at the end following a brilliant second half showing from Millwall. Match action. The first half was a non-event in terms of goalmouths action, with the two sides registering just 3 shots on target between them until Solanke broke the deadlock on the stroke of half time. And it wasn't controversial at the time, but looking back, he pushed Mason Bennett in the back and got himself a bit of space to do what he did. That should have been a free kick to us. A Bournemouth corner was only cleared as far as Jack Stacey, who kept the ball alive and swung back over for Solanke to poke home at the second time of asking. Several Millwall players felt the former Chelsea youngster had nudged Mason Bennett before stabbing past Bartosz Białkowski, although their appeals are waved away, much to the annoyance of the disgruntled home fans. Earlier, the Lions had felt aggrieved that the Cherries midfielder Gavin Kilkenny wasn't awarded a second yellow card for dissent, with referee Dean Whitestone greeted with a series of loud boos when he left the pitch. Yeah, the referee didn't have a good game. That Kilkenny basically dived right in front of the referee. The referee was like 5 yards away, but he had already booked him, so he bottled it and he didn't give him the second yellow card that he deserved. But what are you gonna do? The home fans' evening almost went from bad to worse right at the start of the second half, but luckily for them, Murray Wallace was in the right place to make a goal-saving block to deny Solanke's second before Białkowski made a comfortable save from Ryan Christie. It looked a matter of time before the visitors extended their lead, but an impressive Jed Wallace tackle just before the hour mark got the crowd up and the Lions players responded. And on 67 minutes, the Lions finally carved out a chance when Tom Bradshaw flicked on for a Phobie and the former Bournemouth striker raced through on goal before clinically stroking into the far corner to equalise with his 4th goal of the season, 3 of which have come at the Den. Millwall almost completed the turnaround with 12 minutes left when Billy Mitchell produced some scintillating footwork to beat 2 Bournemouth players on the left before cutting inside, only to see his rasping effort fly just over. The Lions went even closer in the 85th minute when a Phobie squared for substitute Bradshaw, who looked set to tap the ball home at the far post, only for Jefferson Lerma to make a crucial intervention and deny a certain goal before Sean Hutchinson headed wide as the host went in search of what would have been a deserved winner. But Millwall were clapped off following an excellent second half showing. Phobie gets the goal his performance deserved. Phobie works hard in every game, but appeared to put in an extra 10% against one of his former clubs. He's done similar all season, but hasn't always been rewarded in terms of goals. But on this occasion, Phobie got exactly what he deserved when he came up with the equaliser. Phobie had gone close minutes earlier, but on that occasion, he hesitated and was pushed wide just before he was about to pull the trigger. But Phobie wouldn't be denied midway through the second period when he was sent through by Saville and stroked home impressively into the far corner to earn Millwall a point. 2 poor decisions nearly cost Millwall. Bad decisions happen every game, especially without the luxury of VAR. But Millwall had every right to feel aggrieved. Having been on the receiving end of 2 in the same game. The first one involved Kilkenny, who had earlier been booked for bringing down Danny McNamara before the midfielder threw himself to the ground seconds later and was fortunate not to be shown a second yellow card for dissent. Then on the stroke of half-time, Mill's frustrations grew slightly deeper when Bournemouth broke the deadlock in fortuitous fashion when Solanke clearly pushed Bennett to the ground, which allowed him to convert past Biakowski. Mill's spirited second half comeback ensured they got something from the game, but it was another case of poor officiating in the Championship. A rare chance for Danny McNamara. When the teams were announced this evening, there was one surprise absentee, Ryan Leonard. The former Sheffield United man had played 90 minutes in each of the previous 6 Championship games, but wasn't involved at all against the Cherries. But whilst Leonard's absence was clearly a loss for Millwall, it allowed Danny McNamara to make a rare start, since enduring a tough afternoon against Luton in which he was hooked early in the second half. The right wing back has hardly been seen since. In fact, McNamara has made just 3 substitute appearances since that 2-0 defeat, with only 29 minutes under his belt. But with Leonard unavailable, McNamara was the obvious replacement, and he justified his selection with a positive performance down the right, showing few signs of rustiness despite this being his first league start for almost 6 weeks. He would be unlucky not to keep his place at Hull on Saturday. And the Millwall team was Biakowski, Ballard, Hutchison, Murray Wallace, McNamara, Saville, Billy Mitchell, Malone, Jed Wallace, Afobe, Bennett, and the substitutes were Bradshaw for Bennett and Ojo for Malone. And that was quite an attacking set of substitutions made there by Gary Rowett, and you check the time we scored in 67 minutes, so we scored straight after those substitutions were made. So well done Gary Rowett for making those changes, because it seemed to pay off straight away. Really, really good. So there you go. That was the game. We were amazing. We were very, very good. We were very good. But it's just frustrating. Like, we're going to go to Hull now. Well, yeah, we're going away to Hull. Now, granted, it's an away game. So it's going to be different than a midweek game at Millwall. But we're probably not going to play as good as we did against Bournemouth when we did go to Hull. This is the Millwall way. Play fantastically well against the teams at the top, and the teams at the bottom just turn up and see what happens. And if we play the way we played today against Bournemouth in every game that we come across, we could be in the top 2. I mean, we really were that good today. But as you can see on the table on the left here, on the right, we stay in 10th, 27 points, tied with Swansea and Blackpool, and we are now a 3-point gap to 7th place, which is Blackburn Rovers. So not even the playoffs. We're just inching away with these 2 draws in 2 games. But the Middlesbrough draw, that was a good result. Today, that was a good result because Bournemouth are a team that are capable of scoring lots of goals, and we got very lucky that we got them when they got started to get a bad run. Very lucky that we caught them after a defeat. After the international break, something's happened. They've kind of put their foot off the gas. Something happened, and we got them, and we managed to get a draw against them, which is fantastic. So now we need to keep that on. Keep going, and in a couple of days, because it's a Wednesday, and then Saturday we go straight into it. We go away to Hull, so I know it's a short turnaround, short rest, but we need to keep the pressure on. We can't be drawing or losing against Hull. We need to be winning against teams like Hull, who are in dire straits, conceding lots of goals at the bottom of the table. We really need those 3 points to catch up to Blackburn and catch up to whoever's in 6s, QPR, whoever it is, or Luton or Coventry. No, Luton's there. Coventry, Stoke. We need 3 points against Hull now. You got a couple of decent results. They were draws, and everyone's moaning about Garrett and draws. But the draw at Middlesbrough was a good result. The draw today was a very good result. Good performance. We need to beat Hull. We need to go and beat Hull now. No fucking around. So we've got the post-match quotes from Gary Rowett here. The next 3 stories are that, and then we're going to end with another transfer link. This is from londonnewsonline.co.uk. One of the best number 9 displays in the Championship this season. Millwall boss delighted at Benicophobia's display. Gary Rowett heaped praise on Benicofobia after Millwall a deserved point against Championship promotion chasers Bournemouth at the Den tonight. Tom Bradshaw's flick sent the Stoke lonely through to secure his 4th goal of his second spell at the club. It cancelled out Dominic Solanke's opener for the Cherries shortly before the interval. Rowett said, "Bennett was outstanding tonight. That was one of the best number 9 performances I've seen in the division this season. That's what we brought him in to do. That's what he can do. I know it's difficult to do that sort of thing every week, but he was fantastic. He earns that bounce of the ball. He worked incredibly hard. He was really physical. He won headers. He backed in and he looked a very threat every time we got a bit of possession. He makes great runs in games, and we struggled to see him early enough and find those passes. We played with a bit more quality at times, but I still think we can do better. But he's a striker that plays on the shoulder, and you have to give him service, otherwise it's a difficult game for him. When he created the chance, I had no doubt that he was going to score, because he's got that top quality. When we had other moments, we had other opportunities. Billy Mitchell's great bit of skill and shot just over. Sav has a shot, Muzza has a header that just flashes wide, Bradders has one, and Lerma just does enough. Great defending. It was an outstanding performance, and I'm disappointed I'm only sat here with a point in my hand." So there you go. It was a fantastic performance. It was. Moving on now to this from news@den.co.uk. So what happened with Ryan Leonard? So bolt out of the blue, which we get this quite often. Just a random player isn't in the squad no more. Oh, and then we find out they're injured. So what happened there? Millwall boss on Ryan Leonard injury and praise for Danny McNamara after the Bournemouth draw. Gary Rowett praised Danny McNamara after the defender came back into the team for the injured Ryan Leonard in a 1-1 draw against AFC Bournemouth on Wednesday night. During the game, there was a bit of impressive running backwards from Danny McNamara. The geezer, I forgot his name. Was it Taylor? Johnson? Something like that. Just running at him, and Danny McNamara was like running full speed backwards, just and closing him down, stopping him from getting an angle on goal, and he ended up taking a shot and then just ballooned it over like they do, you know. Quite often you have these players with a lot of pace, but they can't cross the ball, and when they shoot it balloons over, and you're like, oh, okay, well, you can shoot all day long, mate. And that's what happened there. But this is really impressive. Danny McNamara running like 10 miles an hour backwards with his quick little feet running like Sonic the Hedgehog. Rowett revealed Leonard missed out with an ankle injury. "There were some really good performances," Rowett said. "Really, it's going from strength to strength. Danny Mac as well. It was a difficult game to come into. Lenny would have started. Lenny's performances have warranted another start, but he felt his ankle this morning. I've said to Danny all along, I know you're disappointed, but you've got to be ready when you get a chance. He got his chance tonight. It was different to when he came in against Bournemouth last time. This time there was a little bit of pressure on, but I thought he was outstanding. Credit goes to him. Lenny just felt his ankle. I named the team and Lenny did his preparation for work and felt okay, but he felt something, did a fitness test this afternoon and didn't feel right. We'll assess that. That's what you've got a good squad for, and that's what we've had this season. We have that competition for places. You look at tonight, people like Mikael Keftenbell, Smudge, particularly with 20 minutes to go, you think, do you put Smudge on? But we just scored and looked pacey, was causing them problems. I didn't want to take that impetus away, but someone like Smudge, it's difficult to see him on the bench at 1-1, because you do think, I flip the coin that way, or keep it as it is and we can win the game. We're going to need all those players, and they're really important to us. So, what I take away from this is credit to Ryan Leonard. And what I mean by that is, like, now he just felt his ankle wasn't right, but at least he told them and said, yeah, this isn't right. I mean, it wasn't like it's an obvious injury with him, apparently. like he's broken down and like, oh, my ankle, my ankle. He's like, it doesn't feel right. So credit him for not just taping it up and cracking on, for actually letting everyone know and say, yeah, I think it might be best for everyone if I just sit this one out, because my ankle's a bit shit. So well done, Ryan Lander, for doing that. We'll see what happens now. Moving on now to the third quote from Gary Rowett. Might be this is about the goal. So this is from londonnewsonline.co.uk, South London Press's online website. Millwall boss gives his verdict on whether Bournemouth goal should have been disallowed for the obvious foul of Dominic Solanke pushing Mason Bennett in the back. Millwall boss Gary Rowett had no problem with Bournemouth's opening goal despite complaints over a push on Mason Bennett. Oh, so he disagrees. Okay. Dominic Solanke stabbed home on the streak of half time to nudge the Cherries' head. At the 10, Bennett was seemingly bundled over in the box in the build up to the goal, leaving the Den crowd furious. But Rowett brushed aside any gripes over Solanke's goal or a potential red card for Gavin Kilkenny, who seemed to go down easily in the box after being booked. We have a chance to clear it on the edge of our box. We get caught and they put the ball in the box, said the Lions boss. Maisha switches off a little bit. Maybe some days he might get a foul for that, but I'm not too sure. I think it's a 50-50 challenge. I certainly wouldn't complain. Solanke gets a little bit of the rub of the green when he hits it against Mason. It drops down to him, but to go in at half time at 1-0 down, I felt was incredibly unfair and disappointing. Millwall players surrounded the referee following Kilkenny's tumble in the box, but Rowett dismissed the idea of a red card. No, I think it was one where he anticipated contact in the penalty box and fell down. It wasn't really a dive, it depends how you interpret it. I don't think it was a red card. It was a difficult game, it was fast paced. I know there were quite a few times late on where they were shouting for offside and you're thinking, wow, if you can see offside from 60 yards back on the halfway line, that's incredible. And I think that's because we put them under pressure. We made them change shape to a 5 with Lerma at the right centre back. We put them under the cosh in the second half, and it was a really, really tough game for them. I don't think the referee had an awful lot of impact in that particularly. Listen, it's a championship game. They're all hard to referee because they're all so quick and so competitive. So there you go. There's a full range of spectrum of quotes from Gary Rowett post-match on the 1-1 draw against AFC Bournemouth at the Den. So that's that match day done. Now we've gone and finished this story with a little link. Now January transfer window is coming up. Now most people in the country and around the Western world are counting down to Christmas. How many days till Christmas? But football fans and footballers and agents especially are counting down to when their transfer window opens. And they keep pushing out these stories, especially the papers. So this is from the dailyrecord.co.uk. It's basically a type of it's like the Sun newspaper but in Scotland. And they say John Souttar leaves Celtic and Rangers wanting as Hearts defender targets English adventure. The defender's preferences are moved down south as options include linking up with his brother Harry at Stoke among many others. Now we've been linked with many players in Scotland over the past couple of years. The one who went to Luton, whatever his name was, I can't remember. But Ryan Porteous from Hibernian didn't end up happening. Was it Alan McDonald, the one from Motherwell went to Luton? Yeah. So what's happening here? So Scotland and Hearts star John Souttar looks set to quit the Jambos for a crack at England. The defender is out of contract at the end of the season and can open pre-contract talks next week. Now here's another thing. So off the pitch, another thing that might be factoring in is the situation with COVID in Scotland, where they're doing COVID passports. Now, just this past week, they said then they are absolutely not going to bring it in for pubs and restaurants, but in big venues and other stuff, they still do it. They're doing it now. If you don't have the thing, you can't go here, there, or anywhere you want. So And I think as time goes on and on and on, and the SNP run Scotland into the ground with their quite bizarre governance of the great nation of Scotland, I think a lot of Scottish players will start coming down south like they used to in the old days. I think that there's going to be a clamour to get out of there, like a brain drain. I think there's going to be a whole host of footballers and other trained professionals leaving Scotland if they don't correct the course on what they're doing with COVID stuff. So let's carry on. The defender is out of contract at the end of the season and can open pre-contact talks from next week. How's that? What? Okay. Is that because the Scottish season finishes earlier than the English season? Because I always thought it was from January. But I imagine it's from... I think it's when you've got 6 months left on your contract. So does their contracts finish in May then? Maybe that's the reason behind that wording, or maybe they got it wrong. Maybe they don't really understand it. Maybe I don't know. I imagine their contracts must finish earlier because they don't really have much going on. They don't have playoffs. Yeah, so I imagine their things do finish earlier. Rangers and Celtic are both interested, but Record Sport understands that the 25-year-old's preference is to try his luck down south of the border. Souttar has still to make a final decision on his next move. There's growing interest in the Scotland star who netted against Denmark in his international comeback last week by the day. So he's a Scottish international and he scored. Nice. So there is already a whole host of keen English Championship clubs tracking the centre back. Stoke City, where his brother Harry plays, Blackburn Rovers, Millwall, Middlesbrough, Luton, Queen's Park Rangers, Birmingham, Blackpool and Preston have all expressed an interest. Now, our name is in that, but it's like fucking half the Championship seem to be having an interest in this Harry Souttar. Oh, what was his name? John Souttar, sorry. So our name is just one of many. Souttar has fought back bravely from 3 Achilles tendon injuries and is keen to make up for lost time with crack at England. 3 Achilles... Jesus. To have 1 Achilles tendon injury is unfortunate. To have 2 is just... but to have 3? How is his Achilles... What is it... What's happening with his Achilles tendon now? Does he have one? Did they put Stretch Armstrong in there? I mean, Jesus. How do you fix your Achilles tendon 3 times? Yeah, when that snaps, I don't know if it snaps. You can hear it, and it's not good. There's a lot of pain, apparently. I don't know. It hasn't happened to me. Touch wood. Hearts Sporting Director Joe Savage remains in talks over a new deal. Blah 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 blah. And then the rest of this has nothing to do with anything. So there you go. John Souttar. Now, the Achilles tendon thing is probably what's stopping him from getting a top team interested in him, which is why he's being linked with mid-range championship teams. Yeah, I don't know, but that's kind of, I know he's a good player. He's Scotland international. He's playing for Hearts, but and we're only one of a whole host of other clubs being linked with him. But now I thought we had Alex Mitchell and we have Aidan Muller, and we've got obviously I think Alex Pearce will be bowing out at the end of the season, and the idea was one or both of them would come in to replace Alex Mitchell leaving. so they can take his place on the bench and actually might get some game time. Especially we've got a lot of injuries. We've got Murray Wallace injury, Jake Cooper, Sean Hutchinson. They've done Ballard as well. They've all been injured at various points this season. So, but are we looking for centre backs that aren't Alex Mitchell? I imagine you're always looking, but if you got Alex Mitchell and you got Hayden Muller, I mean, what are they doing then? Like, they're going out on loan. They're playing very well, very well. So, how are they progressing if we go around signing Scottish internationals to come in and play as centre back? But so maybe it's not happening. It's a weird one. There's like 12 clubs linked with him. So, but they threw our name in there. So there you go. I thought I'd just share that with you. And that is it for today's video. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.